Welcome, everyone. If you are a health educator, a university administrator, or a policymaker, you already know exactly why we're here today. In this explainer, we are tackling an urgent, systemic issue that is quietly undermining the success of higher education institutions everywhere. We're talking about the campus health crisis. Today, we're diving deep into a comprehensive academic review of student wellness, diet, and physical activity. And as you'll see, managing student health isn't just about telling kids to have more willpower. It requires a massive, structured, institutional response. It is literally time to rethink how we support our students from the ground up. So let's jump right into it. Now, this is the exact question that should keep every university administrator awake at night. Why do students who possess adequate nutritional knowledge still fail to maintain healthy habits? I mean, research shows that university students are in a highly vulnerable transitional stage. They know what a balanced diet looks like, they know they're supposed to exercise, yet rapid weight gain, poor diet, and totally stagnant physical activity run rampant across our campuses. There is this huge critical gap between a student's health awareness and their actual day-to-day behavior. Today, we're going to diagnose exactly why this gap exists, and much more importantly, how we can actually close it. To figure out this institutional failure, our roadmap today looks like this. First, the campus health crisis. Second, the psychology of student choices. Third, real barriers to wellness. And finally, strategies for institutional action. Starting with Section 1, the campus health crisis. Let's look at the reality our students are facing. Okay. So the transition into university life is a massive shock to the system. We all know the textbook dietary ideal for peak cognitive function, right? Balanced carbs for energy, protein for muscle repair, plenty of fiber, proper hydration. But let's be real, look at the actual campus reality. Under the crushing weight of academic pressure, weird schedules, and sudden independence, students are defaulting to skipped meals, heavy reliance on cheap fast food, and massive sugar spikes just to survive finals week. It's like trying to run a high-performance engine on the cheapest fuel possible. And here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. The consequences extend way beyond just stepping on a scale. Yes, rapid weight gain and obesity, what we traditionally call the freshman 15, are incredibly prevalent. But this is a holistic crisis. Bad dietary habits and a lack of exercise directly lead to chronic fatigue, a weakened immune system, and skyrocketing stress and anxiety. And for the institutions listening, this lifestyle severely reduces academic concentration and performance. This crisis is literally hitting the primary metric of higher education. Moving on to Section 2, the psychology of student choices. We need to figure out why these specific decisions are being made. To solve this puzzle, we have to look at the psychology. We're looking at two frameworks, starting with the health belief model, or HBM. Basically, this suggests a student is only going to adopt healthy habits if they believe the health risks are severe and if they believe taking action actually offers significant benefits. But listen to this critical takeaway. If the perceived barriers, lack of time, massive workload, or no nearby gym, if those outweigh the perceived benefits, the student simply will not act, period. The second framework is the theory of planned behavior, or TPB. This theory tells us that a student's intention to, say, hit the gym or eat a salad is driven by three things: their personal attitude, their subjective norms, which is basically a fancy term for peer pressure and social expectations, and their perceived behavioral control, meaning how easy or difficult do they actually think it is to pull this off in their current environment. Now, when we map that theory directly onto real campus life, the problem becomes glaringly obvious. A student's attitude is completely skewed because they think an hour of exercise is stealing precious study time. Subjective norms work against them when their friends and social media feeds are glorifying late-night junk food runs over healthy eating. And their perceived behavioral control, it gets completely zeroed out by their environment. When there's literally no healthy food available at 11 p.m. on campus, they feel powerless. The environment is dictating their actions. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, real barriers to wellness. Let's look at the systemic roadblocks. Let's move from theory to actual student interviews to really humanize what they face every single day. Look at this quote from a pharmacy student in the research data. The biggest barrier is academic workload. Heavy courses, exams, and assignments disturb both diet and exercise routines. That is profound, isn't it? It underscores that our very own institutional academic structures are often inadvertently sabotaging student wellness. When a student is forced to choose between passing a brutal chem exam and taking 45 minutes to jog, they will sacrifice their health every single time. Then we have to look at where they actually live. Another participant noted, students often live in hostels where healthy food is not easily available and good restaurants or quality food options are often far. This totally proves the issue is largely infrastructural. It's rooted right in our campus dining and living conditions. If the campus dining hall only serves greasy, nutrient-poor food and healthy alternatives are physically out of reach without a car, the student is just trapped. When we take a step back and summarize these qualitative findings, we are looking at a giant wall of systemic roadblocks. Students are dealing with financial constraints, making healthy food unaffordable. They're dealing with subpar cafeteria food. They suffer from severe academic stress and time poverty, which, is compounded by excessive screen time. Plus, there's a total lack of institutional fitness guidance. Honestly, we can't blame the students when the entire system is stacked against them. Individual willpower alone just cannot overcome these compounded institutional barriers. And this leads us to a massive realization for university planners. Listen closely. Facilities alone are not enough. The research explicitly found that simply building a shiny new gym or a sprawling sports ground is highly ineffective on its own. Without an active university-sponsored culture of wellness, we're talking regular seminars, health counselors, active motivation, students simply won't use the existing infrastructure. They don't just need a building, they need active guidance to walk through its doors. So, Section 4, Strategies for Institutional Action. How do we actually bridge this gap? All right, we've diagnosed the failures. Now, how do we fix them? We need a really clear, step-by-step prescription. Step 1, you absolutely must mandate affordable, nutrient-dense food options in all campus cafeterias. You have to make the healthy choice the easy, cheap choice. Step 2, integrate time management and wellness education directly into the academic curricula. Actually teach them how to balance those heavy course loads with their physical health. And Step 3, launch active, professionally guided campus sports and health campaigns. Bring the awareness directly to their doorstep. Here is your real-world blueprint for evidence-based wellness programs. To foster a thriving student body, institutions need to adopt regular dietary workshops so students truly understand nutritional planning. They need access to professional physical training guidance. Coaches who can teach them how to exercise safely so they don't get intimidated and just quit. There must be readily available health counselors to tackle the stress and anxiety that literally blocks physical activity. And finally, there has to be a systematic reduction of junk food availability on campus to actively reshape the environment they live in. I want to wrap up this explainer by leaving you, the policymakers and educators, with one final, provocative thought. Ask yourself, is your institution merely a place of academic learning, or is it a foundation for lifelong student wellness? Think about it. If a student graduates with an incredible degree, but they have a ruined metabolism, chronic fatigue, and severe anxiety, well, have we truly set them up for success in the real world? It is time for institutions to step up and finally bridge the gap between health knowledge and campus reality. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope this sparks some actual, concrete action on your campuses.